Hi everybody, Pat Huntoon here from Technique Junkies, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make that colorful gratitude card that I showed you in the beginning of the video. It's a really easy card to make, so let's get started. So it is an ink blended card. So I have pre-cut the paper for you. We are using a few things here. We are using the BoHo Floral Stencil. Hopefully you can see that well enough. The BoHo Floral Stencil from A Colorful Life Designs to start. And what I am doing, I have a piece of cardstock here because this is a slimline card cut to 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 because this slimline card is going to be 3 1/2 by 8 1/2. So I wanted to leave a 1/4 of an inch edge around the outside for you. Okay, so I put a mat down because Versamark can be a little messy and I don't want it to be messy. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my BoHo stencil here, my BoHo Floral Stencil, which I've had for a while. It's a little dirty. And I'm going to spray the back of it with Pixie Spray so that it holds nice and firmly on my piece. So after you spray that, you let that sit for 1 minute because you want that all that Pixie Spray to really activate. So it gets tacky after about a minute. And this 6x9 stencil fits absolutely perfectly. I'm going to move it over just a little bit. Absolutely perfectly on the cardstock widthwise. So I'm going to try to get most of the flower and some of the swirls over here. So I'm just using a Versamark pad. And I'm just going to press this Versamark pad through here. And I'm going to do this a couple of times because I really want to get that Versamark on there because everywhere there's Versamark, obviously that's where the embossing powder will go. I'm using a white embossing powder for this first step. And get that nice and inked up. And literally removing the stencil, and then I will wipe that off afterwards. It's got Versamark on it. All right, so let's get that covered with a white. You could use white or clear here, depending on how clean your Versamark pad is. So I'm just going to use white. I know some people hate when you dump, but I'm going to do the dump anyways. I'm going to get that good and dump on there, and empty that back. Let me heat this and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so we're ready to add some ink to this, and the inks I have for you today is Twisted Citron, Salvage Patina, the new Salvage Patina, Wilted Violet, and Mermaid Lagoon, but we're going to do them in this order. We're going to go Twisted, Salvaged, Mermaid, Wilted. I'm back to working on my Tim Holtz mat because I like the way things blend a little bit better when you use this mat onto the cardstock. Okay, so Twisted Citron. I love this color. It's such a bright green, such a bright green. I'm going to use my green brush on it. And I'm just going to go over this, and I'm not worried about it sitting on top of the embossed portion because we'll just wipe that off with a cloth. So I want to get this on here nice and thick. Okay, so about a 1/4 of the way with the Twisted Citron. Then I'm going to do the Salvage Patina next. I hate the reflections of my legs. So a little Salvage Patina. And the rest of these I'm just going to go really fast. I'm going to put it on fast time. You don't really need to watch me do these in real time. Okay. So that is the background. We're going to let that ink rest for a little bit before we wipe it off the edges. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more purple. I did that a little light for my taste. So a card like this, and it's black on the outside. I like to have a white insert. So what I'm going to do is actually take my BoHo Floral Stencil, and it's a little sticky yet because I didn't clean it off. So I'm just going to put some purple here. I'm not even adding ink to these brushes. I'm just using the ink that's there because I want this to be a very light, faded out kind of look just in one corner. And then maybe in this other corner, I'll just use this a little tilted here. And I'll use citrine in this corner. Just a little bit, just to give the inside some oomph. And it still allows you to write over it because it's not very dark, but okay, I said I wasn't going to add any more ink, but I do need more patina on my brush. Tiny bit. So patina there. Just to give it a little, look at the inside. Look at how beautiful that's going to be on the inside. It's going to just be a nice, light little inside of the card. So I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to take a piece. And this piece of cardstock, let me tell you what it is. It's a little bit bigger than what I need, but it is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. This is for the word gratitude with gratitude that goes over the top of this, and I want to make this colorful too. So what I'm going to do is just do a little bit. The majority of this piece is going to be Mermaid Lagoon and the Selvage Patina, because that's what's in the middle, and obviously this isn't covering the whole cardstock. And this is going to be cut down, this piece. So I'm just coloring this now since I have the inks out, and then I can put the inks away. Okay, so isn't that nice and pretty? So let's go back to this first piece. I'm going to put white down so you don't see the light. So what I'm doing with this first piece is I'm literally just taking a dry fiber cloth. See how it frayed? I'm taking this dry fiber cloth and I'm just wiping it off the embossing portion. Okay, so it's good and wiped off. Isn't that just pretty all by itself? Now, I could use Stays On and stamp directly on this. I would stamp it several times until the Stays On stayed on there. But I am going to actually have this pop off the page on this piece, which will go on top. So let's stamp onto this. So I have the gratitude loaded into here, and this is where it stamps. And I know that because I stamped it there. And I'm just going to hold this down. Could use a piece of acetate, but I know this is in there nice and evenly. So it's just a matter of kind of seeing where this will land. And this time out, I'm going to be using VersaFine in Black Onyx. And I'm going to move this down just a little bit because I'd rather have edging around it that I can cut off if I need to, rather than having it right at the edge. So I'm just going to put that back down. Okay, so normally I would use an anti-static bag on this to keep the powder residue down on the inked portion, but I think I can't find my anti-static bag, so I am going to just ink this in the black, the With Gratitude, from the stamp set. And I don't need to, but I think I'm just going to do it twice so that this is more juicy. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Look at how beautifully that's stamped. And then I'm going to take some diamond sparkle, some clear diamond sparkle. And I am going to put it over the top of this. Put my Misty to the side. It's not too bad. It pretty much stayed on the words. Okay, so I have a cheap little paintbrush. I'm just gonna get some wiping here. Just wipe around the edges because I don't want everything to sparkle. It could. It doesn't really matter. It's just makes it a little neater. Get that heat tool going again. Let me heat it and I'll come right back. Okay, so that has been done with clear sparkly. Isn't that pretty? Now, if you were not a grungy person, you can literally mat these, put these together, and just be done. But I like a little bit of grunge. So what I'm going to do is cut this piece down, and then we're going to ink the edges. So I have a black brush here. I have my black soot, and I'm going to start with this. I'm just going to push this onto the edge. Now, I don't want this to be totally blackened. So I just want a little fineness there. Can you see the difference between the edges? What I just did versus a clean edge. It's just enough to make it stand out a little bit. before I mat it. You want to do this before you mat it on black. I'm going to just mat it on black, and I know I'm putting it on black, but my trimmer keeps leaving me these beautiful little stray pieces, so I'm going to cut those off. Happens to everybody, I guess, right? Cut those off. Okay, so now we have a little grungy gratitude, and then I'm going to do the same thing along these edges. So there it is. It's got a little grunge on it. Let's go a little bit further with this. And I am going to pull out my Shimmering Bliss in gold. This is a Shimmering Bliss topper. And when you mix these, you just roll them between your hands because you want to move all that glittery goodness, all that shimmering goodness away there. So I am simply going to give this a very light spray. Now, normally when I spray and I show you spraying colors, I show you down close. But this time we're going to be up pretty high because I don't want this to take this over. Not that the gold does. It's very subtle. So can you see that gold goodness on there? Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so glittery and gorgeous. Try to pull the light down a little bit. And then the same thing with gratitude. Now this is going to actually have the effect of lifting the ink a little bit on the with gratitude especially. So you just want to give that a couple little shots, and I think you can see the beautiful gold glitter. Oh, it's just so pretty on that one. And I'm just going to remove this, and let's put this card together. Let that, oh, one last thing. You do want to, this does, because it is a liquid and we did emboss that, it will puddle on top of the inks there. So you just want to give this a nice little wipe, just a little swipe after it's had a chance to soak into the cardstock a bit. So the white really pops back up again. And this one I'm just going to hit a little bit. So let's, I'm just matting this together, and I'll do that in fast time. So there it is. There's our lovely gratitude card in black. Let me show you some contrast here so you can really see it. It's really quite an easy card, and it is just stunning, and wouldn't you just love to receive it? I know I would. So that is our gratitude card, and that is our tutorial for today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube and consider subscribing to the Technique Junkie YouTube channel. Also, I do have a kit for this, and the link is down below in the notes. I have it with inks, without inks, and all the little pieces and parts that I actually carry. Some I don't, but some of the pieces and parts that I carry are also in a category for you to shop. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye now.